Hi.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Thank you. We're just about to get to 5 o'clock. We'll sort of wait for people to join us.
Sure,
Till
sure.
then, I will introduce you to the audience who has joined us. So guys, I and Khushbu spent a lot of time in the last few days to talk about homeopathy. And as you know, I try to create as much awareness and bring you all the resources that you could, leverage to reverse your PCOS as much as naturally as you can. And Khushbu here is a great combination of homeopathy, and she also practices hypnotherapy, and she also practices nutrition counseling. So, really good to know and get some knowledge from people who practice holistic ways of natural, reversing PCOS. And she has over 12 years of experience, global experience, where she has treated people all over the world, and she meets a lot of women. So I think we can learn a lot from her experience. Also, before I hand it over to Khushbu, I would like you to know that whatever we discussed today on homeopathy, on various resources that are available, it's not for you to self-medicate or, self-diagnose anything. Definitely, you would require a health practitioner to sort of understand more about yourself or understand more about the medication. But in this session, I would like you to discuss what are the best homeopathy medications, why for some people homeopathy won't work, and why for some people, it does work magically. So we're going to take this into a further discussion with Khushbu. Khushbu, over to you. Why don't you introduce yourself and we can get into what homeopathy is. You can directly take it up.
So first, let me tell you a big thank you. You've really done, you've introduced me, I think, larger than life. I am not too great as you put me out there to be. And I must say that, the way you've started this PCOS Club India was really, really, really needed in this country because there are so many women, girls who have PCOS and they don't know where to go, where to get the right resources from. So I have been one of them. I was diagnosed with PCOD when I was 14 years old. And so
Wow.
today it's been a journey for me also, from that 14-year-old girl to a 36-year-old, to having two kids of my own. So it is, it is a challenge, and yes, we all do end up Googling. And so when you have a club like this, what happens is that, there's somebody who's moderating the content that comes to you. It's very well thought, it's checked and then put up, and not just a random article that's put up, which can impact health in a negative way also.
So thank you so much, Khushbu, for the appreciation. You're too kind. So can you tell our audience, and guys, we will be happy to take any questions that you would want to ask about homeopathy. So please put down your questions and we can take small breaks in between here and there to answer your question. So going back to Khushbu, we want to know everything about homeopathy. We know that it is another natural way to reverse PCOS. But how is homeopathy, evolved as a medicine? As in, how is it used to treat a patient?
So let me put it very simply. Homeopathy comes from the word homeos and pathos. Homeos means similar and pathos is suffering. So homeopathy comes from a principle like cures like. So let's say if you are sitting and cutting an onion, what will happen when you chop an onion? You'll start sniffling, you'll have slight tears in your eyes. So when you have a cold, which has sniffling and where you have lacrimation, that's where homeopathy medicine, which is made out of onion, can come handy. So
Okay.
homeopathy was actually discovered by a physician who was actually practicing allopathy in the 1800s. He was a physician for 15 years, and he just gave up his practice because he thought this system at that time, what happened was when there would be high blood pressure, they would leech people, like they'd put leech on your body, bloodletting would happen, and that would automatically reduce your blood volume and in turn reduce blood pressure. So these techniques were causing more harm than, causing benefit. So that's why he started translating books. Now, when he was translating books, he came across a phrase which said that the cinchona bark, the quinine, because of its bitterness, can, help treat malaria. So he tried doing something which is called as drug proving. He took small pieces of cinchona and ate it. And he slowly started showing symptoms of malaria. But he was like, there are so many foods in this world which are more bitter than cinchona. So why only cinchona? Was what set him to study and understand, and where homeopathy came into being, where the whole thing of similia similibus cubrenta, where like cures like. So in homeopathy, we don't treat you, say you have a headache, so I'll give you a headache medicine. No, it's you who has a headache. So say Nidhi is having a headache. So I'm going to ask Nidhi, hey Nidhi, what's happening? Where is your headache? So that's why that long history taking. Where is your headache? How did it start? What happened? What makes you feel better? How does it get worse? So we are treating you as a whole. Mind, body, soul. Because you're not just your head or your ovaries or your heart. You are a person. So when we treat, we need to integrate that. So that's where even I started integrating the whole concept of integrating the mind, body, and soul came into place.
Okay, that's wonderfully put. And I love the fact that you explain that how we are whole. I mean, it's not what I also tell women, it's not one symptom. Is it that's some root cause behind that symptom which we need to treat? So in your case, like you mentioned that, you take into account various other factors along with homeopathy. And you also explained it to me that, Nidhi, sometimes we do not use homeopathy and we use other things. So let's just try to understand, even if it is homeopathy or any natural treatment, what will be important for you to treat a patient, and then see that, okay, if homeopathy is applicable or a hypnotherapy is applicable, how would you go about giving a homeopathy medicine?
So let me just give you an outline and then come to this. So very often women, when they come to me with either acne or thinning of hair or a lot of anxiety, or they don't feel good about their body, or simple women just tell me, Khushbu, I'm just feeling very crappy and pathetic and I do not know what to do. And I've always believed that women need not suffer. It's always said, whatever goes wrong, blame it on your hormones. Oh, your hormones are like that. Oh, your hormones are like that. So it's not. So your hormones have not come from outside. They are inside of you. There is something that has gone wrong on the inside, which is bringing this thing outside. Again, let me give a very simple example. One day before we get a fever, we have this weird discomfort which tells us, just rest it out. But we are like, we're the super achievers. There, no, it's okay. Just I'm being lazy. Let me put this aside. Let me work. And that's when next day you get the fever. Had you listened to your body on day one, you may have not had that fever. Same way, our symptoms are the signs that our body gives us. And to me, as a homeopath, I'm here to see your symptoms and to uncover what's inside. So it's like an onion, layer after layer after layer. I uncover that bud inside. Until I do not treat the root cause, it's not going to help you.
Yeah.
So in homeopathy, what we do, or this is the basic history taking that I do, is that I understand your complaints. What are your complaints? When did they start? What was the progression of it? How long have you suffered from it? What treatments have you done for it? What is your lifestyle about it? What is your family history, your past history, your personal history, your medical history? And most importantly, your emotional history. Your emotional history has a lot of significance when it comes to your hormones. PCOS is actually a vicious cycle only for one reason. It's because if you're not mentally happy, your hormones are not happy. If your hormones are not happy, you're not mentally happy. So this cycle just goes on and on and on. So when I take a history, I understand what is of prior importance to the individual sitting in front of me. Then I explain to her, hey, in my opinion, I think let's start, if I see there's a lot of lifestyle change, girls who are in class 12 or going to college who come to me, I normally see a lifestyle change. So I don't see the need to give them a medicine which may be even as mild as homeopathy, which is as simple as taking a badam. But I feel that if you can change with your own diet, so you feel that no, I did it. That gives you a sense of empowerment, and that makes you feel very powerful today. And when you make those changes and you know your health is in your hands, you can keep doing it and you motivate other people also to do that.
Okay, so Khushbu, here, I mean, there are a couple of questions coming up as we speak about, understanding the root cause, understanding where you include hypnotherapy and where you include homeopathy. So since we talked about the root cause, how do you sort of identify a root cause? Okay, this is the root cause for your PCOS and this is the root cause for your PCOS. If you want to differentiate and probably give some example from your patients, what were the different cases you sort of understood?
So very often, I think 70 to 80% of women, the root cause is their change in their lifestyle. Where they've changed homes or gone to college or suddenly started aping the West in terms of their diet, gotten more sedentary, no exercise, is when you start seeing this. And I've also seen cases of women where there's a lot of guilt and frustration. And I think it's very common in most women. We feel guilty at the drop of a hat. Oh, I'm not a good daughter. Oh, I'm not a good mother. Oh, I'm not doing a good job. Oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this promotion. I don't deserve this good thing happening to me. They are working hard. Well, you are doing that too. When
this is so right.
Self-love goes out of the picture is also when your hormones get whacked. Because you're constantly blaming. So, if you're studying what is called the mind-body metaphysics, the guilt, frustration comes into the ovary. So that's where the emotional history. So for me, it's not very easy to tell you because it's like there are so many things to consider. I have to, like sometimes, for PCOS, my history taking sometimes can go over 2 sessions. But I'll after 1.5 hours say, you go home, come back, think this through and come back to something. Because, when I'm working on your hormones, it's going to affect not just your ovaries, but your mind, body, and soul. I've got to be very certain where I am. So yes, when there's a lot of bleeding irregularities or scanty cycles is where I do consider homeopathy. But even there, I try giving natural foods before. And I have had a case where this lady had a lot of bleeding. She bleed for 18, 20 days and so much bleeding and number of pads that needed to be changed, where simple banana flowers with curd work like magic, but after a month. So it takes its own time. There is no miracle cures here. It's simple, but it's not easy. It needs a lot of effort, lot of dedication from your end. So when anybody approaches me for a consult, I tell them, look, my method is very simple, but the approach is not easy. I need your 1000% commitment.
That's so true.
I can only advise you. You are the one who has to follow. But if you go against what I'm telling you, it's not going to show you the benefits it's supposed to show. And you're going to come ask me, hey, Khushbu, but this is not working. Like, hey, what did you do? So, it's a cycle where we are together in this. But my job is only 30%. Your job is just 70%.
I completely agree with you because I feel that if you look at the natural environment, there are a lot of various therapies available. So if you see Ayurveda, naturopathy, homeopathy, these are all natural. But I feel that as women, we are so looking forward for a quick result. We would say that, acha, homeopathy kar lete hain, Ayurveda bhi kar lete hain, thoda sa allopathy bhi kar lete hain, and your body is confused because you need to have some time or patience when it comes to natural ways. A pill would give you a result in probably 2-3 days, but a natural treatment might take a few weeks, and that might be a sustainable one. But it does take time.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's true.
Okay, so couple of people. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just to tell me what you say.
So I was going back to the questions as we said, right? And there were a couple of people who asked that, can we do something about hair fall? Can we do something about anxiety? And I I know that these questions come up in every live that we do, and I always say that these are the symptoms. So hair fall is a
Exactly.
symptom, and acne is a symptom, a fatigue is a symptom. But
Absolutely.
I'll let you answer that how homeopathy can work with your hair fall, anxiety, and acne. Like there are certain questions in the live already.
Sorry, I don't seem to. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll just answer the questions that you've asked me. So see, when it comes to hair fall, homeopathy works wonders. But before I start homeopathy, I go back to what you're eating. Your hair is made up of protein and water. If your diet is not having adequate protein and water, no matter the best oils I give you, the best medications you apply, or whatever that you do is not going to help. But at the end of the day, it comes back to eating sensibly. Eating. Your food is your first medicine. So I
Yeah.
have always followed this philosophy of food first.
Okay.
What you eat, how you eat, when you eat, makes a world, and with what mindset do you eat? So,
Yes.
when I'm working with women with PCOS, there's one tip I always give, and it's called as the mindfulness eating, where I always tell
Yeah.
them, when you have your plate before you take the first bite, stop. Take 5 deep breaths. Breathe in from your nose. Pause, count 5, and breathe out from your mouth. You can do it even now as we speak. And tell me what you feel. Just do it with me. Isn't it suddenly very serene,
Yeah.
very calm? And now, when you approach your food with this calm, serene feeling, you will not overeat, you will not make the wrong choices, and you will listen to your gut.
Yeah. That's
So,
that's right. What? Yeah.
So that's where, again, so whatever you say, acne or hair fall or anxiety, even, your food, what you eat can uplift your mood or really create crazy moods. There's been a study by the Harvard University in 2003 which proves that junk eating can make you aggressive. So imagine we women with sensitive hormones, is it not going to affect our anxiety levels? So how is it fair to put a medicine into a system without making you understand that this is you what's causing your issue? Correct? If you have a headache, you take the pill, not the one who gave you the headache. So
Yeah.
the
So
same way,
Khushbu, you said you explained really nicely, I must say, that how, the other things apart from the medicine aspect are actually more significant than the medicine itself. Now, if we talk about the homeopathy pills, like the small pills that you take, and especially as per research, if I want to speak about some of the medicines like Lyco and Calcarea carbonica, and there are many other medicines as per research which have been proven that homeopathy helps. Do you want to talk about these medicines and probably give some more background about how these work in our body?
so see, homeopathy medicines, like I said, they work by working on the principle of similars.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what happens is when you Google, you come across these generic names like calcarea carb, lycopodium. Yes, these are fantastic medicines, but these may not work for you. Why? Now, when you go to a store to buy clothes, do you decide I'm going to wear this dress and then change your body size for it? Or you know your
No.
body size and then pick up a dress? It works the
Hmm.
same way. But this is my body. The medicine that I will give you or I will work out for you will cover your mind, body, and soul. So, yes, calcarea carb may be the medicine that works for you, and it may not be the medicine that works for you. So, see, what happens is, like I said, when Hahnemann drug proved the cinchona bark, he got malaria like symptoms. So, you can also drug prove calcarea carb or lycopodium and come up with symptoms which did not exist in your body before. Though these may be for a short span of time and it's not going to affect you negatively, but you need not take a drug for no reason at all. So it's best to consult a homeopath who will take your history at the level of mind, body, soul, sit down and then match your disease to a medicine and then give you that in a dosage that you need.
Okay. So there are a couple of women that I come across, and I think very recently somebody put a question out there, which I also had in mind. One of the viewers, Shah Mansi 911, she says that she's taking a glycomet and other allopathy medicines along with homeopathy. And I feel there are a lot of women who do like multi sort of a medicine. They would have allopathy or a birth control pill, and they will say, okay, I'll also take homeopathy. I want to know your views that do you think homeopathy is something that you should be practicing alongside, or is it something that you should give wholeheartedly to homeopathy and do the lifestyle
You can
changes? I mean, what
combine
would,
it together. You
okay.
can take homeopathy safely along with these. Because see, what has happened is you were already onto a certain medicine. And it's brought about, see, every medicine, whatever you do is to bring your body to a better place, right? So it's brought about certain changes in your body. If I ask you to withdraw that suddenly, you can have other complications. So what I say is continue homeopathy with it. If your gynax sees changes, she's automatically going to reduce your dosage. And I have seen that so many times. Because if you suddenly withdraw a drug, it can cause a lot of other hormonal complications, which we do not need. See, at the end of the day, what is my bottom line with my patient? That you get better, you do not suffer. So now, if you take multiple approaches, it's fair enough. If it works for your body, fair enough. If it's not suiting you, fair enough. Each to his own. But there is no such thing as that homeopathy will create issues when taken allopathy or allopathy will create issues when taken homeopathy. No. Homeopathy is an alternative and a complementary medicine, so it can be taken together also.
So if somebody asked here that also like since she's taking glycomet and cabeline once a week along with homeopathy for 2 years and still her periods are irregular, and she gets a lot of anger and irritation and mood swings. So what would you tell her?
I need to take a history to understand what aspect of you is unexplored, whether it's your diet, your lifestyle, your emotional case. Now, because, okay, I'll give you an example. I was working with this girl who lived in Delhi, and I was just doing homeopathy with her to treat her PCOS. And in 3 months, I expect to see a certain change, and I did not see it. So, and while taking history, I figured there was a lot of emotional issues that we needed to sort with her. So one day she just came down from Delhi to see me. She said, Khushbu, we need to sort this out. So I'm like, fair enough. I mean, I took her on the hypnotherapy chair, and it took us 6 hours, but we resolved issues that she had as a child with her father, in her mother's womb, with her sister. And I think 2 days later, she started spotting, then she got her periods, and that was 2014. This is 2020. Every single month, she's had regular cycles. So that's the impact your emotions can have on you. So every part of you is equally important. So when I knew I had my homeopathy medicines were done correctly, her diet was looked after, there was something else missing. So that's when we explored the mind aspect. So it's like working like a detective to see, okay, this is right, this is right, this is right, this is not right. So for me, it's very simple. Remove the negative. So this is my policy of funda when I work with PCOS. Is I say, first, tackle the known problems. The unknown will automatically come out in front of you.
That's amazing because as I said and as we also worked, talked about it, that most of us, and you briefly explained about how we feel a lot of guilt in us as women, we multitask a lot. We always focus कि ठीक है एक multivitamin खा लेते हैं, एक diet कर लेते हैं, exercise कर लेते हैं. But the small stresses in our life which pile up every day to become one big tree one day, and that might be the cause of your anxiety, probably your fear factor to face them, right? And that's where all the mindfulness practices like meditation, yoga, and from my experience as well, like I've had really long working hours, and that really sort of bogged me down. It was one of the big cause of my PCOS, I would say. Doing those meditations, doing those self-guided meditations, yoga really helped me and understood better of me. And I feel all these mindfulness practices are equally important. Probably those are the key areas of your stress which might cause your PCOS. And especially in COVID-19, there were a lot of girls who came back to me saying that, Nidhi, our stress levels automatically went down and I got my periods on time. So that's a great
Really?
example to say yes. So, I mean, this is something like one piece of it. What I feel also really works is that mindfulness is important. Now, there are a couple of others on the roll here who are asking that how to improve gut health with homeopathy.
So homeopathy works very well to improve gut health. Homeopathy. But again, before homeopathy, it's your diet. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it sounds so repetitive, but it's true, if your diet, if what you're eating is not working to improve your gut, no matter what medicine I'll give you, it's like putting a band-aid for a part that needs surgery. Because beyond
Mm.
a certain point, it's not going to work. Once you've cleared your diet and we still feel there are issues that in your stomach, your acid levels are not right, or you're not digesting foods in a certain way, is when then I introduce homeopathy medicines. And yes, homeopathy.
Khushbu, we lost you for a few seconds. So could you repeat what you
I'm so
said in the
sorry.
last 5 seconds?
So I'm saying that once your diet is on the right place and we still see issues related to your gut, is when then we start checking, we take your history, understand what are your symptoms, because see, your symptoms are the language that your body tells me. Based on your symptoms, then we give you medication to see what's working for you. And I have seen, I think in about 80 to 85% of cases of homeopathy works like magic with stomach related issues.
Okay. There's somebody who asked that I stay in Goa. How can I have a consultation with you? So,
I have been doing online consultations for the last 12 years. I have so patients all over the world. You can just email me or get in touch on my Instagram page and I'll guide you further.
okay, great. So, Khushbu, does homeopathy have any side effects? I mean, how long can one take homeopathy and say that, okay, this I've been on homeopathy for 2 and 3 years, but I have not seen a change. So, until when can we take it and there would be no side effects?
So let me be very honest with you. When you start homeopathy for PCOS, in the first 3 months, you should start seeing some changes, even if it is as tiny as 2 to 5%. If you don't see those changes, please go back to your homeopath and say, I'm not seeing changes. Something is going wrong. Okay. And so then it does not make sense to continue taking something for 2, 3 years if it's not doing anything for you. But if
Yeah.
it's working for you, then I say wait to get 100% better and then get 120% better and then stop. So even if you come back to 100, you're still fine. So the number of years is not as important as long as you're doing fine.
Okay. The next question I had that will somebody have to continue with homeopathy even if they've reversed? So I think you sort of answered that already that
No, I have been on homeopathy and I took it for myself for about, I think, 4 months. And that was, I think, when I was 16 years of age or something. And then it's only been eating correctly, working out, being active, having the right state of mind. That's about it.
I think there was another question where people were curious to know that in how much time do you see results? And I feel that obviously it depends. I would leave it up to you to answer that. That how long does it take for homeopathy to give results?
See, homeopathy by itself will give you temporary results. We are looking at long lasting, permanent, happy hormones. And that
Yeah.
takes its own time. But yes, if you are at it sincerely, uh, 3 years to 3 months to 1.5 years is what I see. And then you're good to go. But if you are not at it 100% or you're doing only one thing and not doing the other, it's going to take its own time. So your body will tell you whether you're feeling good or not feeling good.
Yeah, that's true. There's somebody who asked, her name is Rimjim. She says that I was taking homeopathy. They asked me to stop taking almonds and nuts because I had acne. Does it really affect?
Every doctor has its own logic of saying whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, the best thing I always say, you are your best doctor. You know what suits your body, what does not. I don't live inside you to give you that idea. I can just suggest you, we try it out for say a month. If that's working for you, fair enough. If not, go back to it. Go back to doing what you were doing.
Okay. So, Khushbu, have you also treated women who want to get pregnant and they have been failing with their fertility? Can you give some recommendations of how you've treated women who want to, get pregnant soon?
So when somebody when somebody comes to me when they want to get pregnant, for me it's like a war footing, where then I don't hold back. Then it's homeopathy and meditation and yoga and exercise and activity, and I'm tracking what you're eating and I'm taking your steps and I'm checking everything. Because if you go back to my page a couple of days back, I received a letter from a lady who had come to me in 2015, I think, and she tried everything. She had been diagnosed with PCOS when she was 16 years old, and she was sick of taking OC pills, and she was like, that's it, I'm done, and I have come to you because my friends have pushed me. I really don't care. I just want a baby. And we worked on her diet, and then 2 months later she just disappeared. And then I get a message from her saying, hey, I conceived, and it's worked very well for me, and she's named her daughter, and now she's pregnant the second time, and so it's just that you gotta be patient with your body and give yourself the chance to get better, and not be like, hey, I started my diet today, why is it not working? It's not going to work right. Give it time, be patient, just set, like, okay, let's see, I started today, it's been a week, am I feeling lighter, am I feeling better, am I feeling happier, am I sleeping better? These are very simple parameters to judge where you are you on the right track or no.
Yeah. No, and I think the smaller things which are looked at it very like non-prioritized is our sleep, especially right now, which for most women it's disturbed. It doesn't work, honestly, that if you're sleeping at 2 o'clock and waking up at 10 o'clock looking at, okay, I got an 8-hour sleep, it doesn't work like that, because we have been blessed by the nature in a way to wake up early and sleep by, maximum by 10 or 11. So I think sleep is something which is as important as a medicine. But yeah, I mean, these are overlooked by most of us, I feel.
Yeah, because your body has a certain cycle. The reason you need to sleep at a certain hour is because the liver starts detoxification when you're sleeping. Now, if you've been awake at the detoxification hour, your liver has not done its job, and next day you feel bloated.
Yes.
So these are things which are missed. And then you feel, why is my face looking so big? Why is my eye puffy? Why is this happening? So sleep is important, not just 8 hours, but even when you're sleeping, you're at peace. That peace of mind is extremely important.
And also something which really works for me and I practice is right now because of the COVID as well, that even though you're still waking up in the morning, I like to get just a half an hour nap in the afternoon just to reset, because we do not realize that we're on a run all day long and you feel that, you're okay, you don't want to sleep, it's fine. But if you just take that 30 minutes of nap, that can do wonders for you. So I feel that naps or good sleep is as important as any medicine. I mean, that's another natural trick that works.
Absolutely.
Few of people, like couple of them asked about Shatavari as a medicine along with homeopathy. Do you believe in Ayurvedic medicine such as Shatavari?
So I completely believe in all natural systems of medicine as long as it's, intended to get you better. But that's not my expertise. So you need to go to a right certified Ayurvedic physician to get the right answer. Because what happens is in every field there are people who are quacks, and if you get caught in that, then you are in trouble. So make sure you're going to a doctor who's verified. So you're in the right hands, and then you can have your doctors also chat with each other, so they are also working in conjunction. Because see, it's at the end of the day, all of us want our patients to get better. I got better, you got better, I did it, you did it. It's secondary. At the end of the day, yes, she's fine. She's, without medication now. She's had a baby. That's what is more important, I think.
So there is somebody who asked about what are the changes that you did, Khushbu, in your diet that really helped you. And since you also had like a successful pregnancy where you had a PCOS background, do you want to also talk about your journey?
So I'll be very honest with you. Luckily, I really didn't have to do any major changes because I have worked with my patients, who I have had to put them on really strict diets, and I have seen very good changes in a month. So for me, I have not really had to go with something like that. Yes, I had to manage my sugar, eating, those refined carbs. So those basic changes what I did, and most important was working out, being active, keeping my reading the right books, which got me, to keep my mind in the right place. Eating for me, what worked was eating small portions frequently. So I
Okay.
really didn't need that much. I mean, I was lucky. Like, okay, I have this lady who I was working with from Scotland, and we worked with her for a while and we didn't see so many changes. And finally, I got her off, I got her off milk, I got her off dairy, I got her off sugar. And a month later, she's like, you know what? I got my period. And it's not painful. Are you sure you're not doing any mumbo jumbo on me? Is this how it's supposed to be? I'm supposed to get PMS. I'm supposed to bloat. I'm not bloating. Something is wrong. Khushbu, are you sure?
Mm.
Am I not supposed to get my pains? I didn't get any cramps. I didn't even know I was getting my periods. And she was like, this was, I think she asked me 8 times in that one call. And I'm like, it's okay. It's fine. PMS is not normal.
Yes. And I feel that PMS and painful periods due to the social media and because of a lot of medication, like people have gone into so much commercial about reducing pain through medicines. I feel that getting a PMS in itself is a problem. It's not normal. Getting a painful period is not normal because it is supposed to come naturally without any pains.
Exactly. It's become like an epidemic. I talk to you, hey, I got pain. So the other person, yeah, even I have pain. Oh, so it's normal. You have pain, I have pain, so
No,
it's normal.
yeah,
It's not normal.
yeah.
So again, see, it
And
works. Like, sorry.
go ahead, please go ahead.
So, like I said, see, for even the diet has to be customized for you. What may work for me may not work for you. Like, I didn't need to go gluten free or dairy free to get my cycles. Okay, I never had issues with cycles. I just had cysts. But to get my cysts to go away, it worked well for me. But some people have to do that. And with her, luckily, what we could also do was reintroduce all of these back one at a time. And now she's on all of these, and her cycles are going well. Some girls I know have not gotten back on that. So you have to understand your body. It's very individual what works for you.
Khushbu, there is somebody on our channel right now. Her name is Palak Sharma. She said that I am on homeopathy medicine for last 2.5 months. My acne and allergy is, sorry, where did that go? Yeah, my acne and allergy is not going and still have scanty periods, but I exercise and avoid junk. So what to do?
So, like I said, it's been 2 months. Are you seeing any benefits, even if it's as simple as, hey, I'm feeling lighter, I'm feeling better, I'm feeling fresher, my emotions are fine. If you're not seeing any, don't look for those big changes. Start with the smaller ones. If you still don't see any, go back to your homeopath and say, hey, I'm not seeing a difference. Can you tell me what I'll be, what changes I'll be able to see? Even if it's very minuscule, so then
That's
I
right.
know. Because see, something like acne, or maybe where there's a lot of hormonal imbalance, 2.5 months would be too soon to see a change in acne. But you could start feeling lighter in your gut. You see I'm digesting better, and okay, something's working for me.
So there is Sunil Sandra. She said sleep also plays major role in regulating our cycle. That's really true, Sunil. Preeti Khanna says that what to do to treat melasma caused by PCOS and insulin resistance.
So for melasma, we have to take your history and change your diet because insulin resistance, has a lot to do with your diet. So like I said, first try releasing the negatives out. See, get the exercise in. Weight training is very, 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 very important when it comes to PCOS. Once a
Yes.
week, if you weight train, you will see the difference. It will also help you prevent osteoporosis, your calcium metabolism will be better, and your skin will be glowing. And yes, I have worked with a lady with melasma, with PCOS, no homeopathy, only diet, and yes, I've seen a change. Like she had
That's
gone to so many dermats, done peels, and she came back to me with it. And then we worked on it, and I think in about 4 months, we started, it started getting dull. So initially there was no change in that, but she started feeling her skin was glowing, her hair was getting better. So like, Khushbu, let's continue. So with her, we worked on her diet for 2 years. And today she does not come to me, but I know she's not got her melasma back because I'm still in touch with her.
Okay, great. So a lot of people want to know more about you and how they can get more consultations from you. So anybody who's interested to speak to Khushbu, feel free to DM her or probably get her email address, and she can help you out. So Khushbu, we are already on the last 5 minutes. I
Really?
want you to. Yes, we didn't even get to
Time's
know that
been
we
flying.
spent.
I didn't even realize it's been so long.
Yeah. So we wanted to keep it 45 minutes, but if you want, we can continue. I think there are a lot of questions more, but I think we discussed a lot of good things today where there are some medications in homeopathy which work really well, and probably there are cases where you don't even need that pill or a homeopathy, just with a lifestyle, or probably there are some stress factors in your life which might need some hypnotherapy or all mindful stress management practices. So, Khushbu, I am so happy and glad that you came on our platform to talk about these in detail. It really, really helps to bring on the right knowledge, and it's really important for the women to make an informed decision of if they want to take up homeopathy or a allopathy, and getting the right information before even they go and ask the right questions from their health practitioner is what I believe is the most important thing. So anything that you would want to share with our community before we end this?
Well, I think you're very right. I always tell who comes to me, ask, 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 ask. Ask me one time, 2 times, 3 times. Ask all your questions before you make a choice whether you want to do this or you don't want to do this. And even if you make a choice and say, I want to do this, and 10 days later realize, oh, it's not working for me, it's okay to say,
Yeah.
well, I don't think this is working for me.
Yeah.
So see, at the end of the day, you want to get better, and that's what we want from you. So make informed choices when you go to somebody. Find out, how credible they are. Read cases about it. Find out about them. Ask them, are there any cases that you've done like this before? Can you tell me something? And I think, it's just this question and answer which can help you build trust, and then you go ahead with it. If you're not feeling better and stuff, just letting go and dropping the system is not working for me, go back to the practitioner and ask, say, hey, this is not working. Is there something that needs to be looked into? Because otherwise, there are people who just keep switching from one doctor to another and then saying, hey, this is, so I am a super case, nothing works for me, and I don't know what to do. So
Yeah.
instead of that, check, talk, speak, ask. And yours is a fantastic club where people can actually come together, discuss, ask. No, so because there's so many women come together and talk about their stories, you know what, I have hope. There's hope for me.
That's so rightly put. Thank you so much, Khushbu. Guys who missed some of the part of this video, I'm going to be sharing it soon on my YouTube channel, like always, probably in a couple of days. So stay tuned. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me or Khushbu related to homeopathy. I can direct those questions to her if you're not able to find her account. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back soon with more videos. Thank you, Khushbu. Have a nice day. And it was
Thank
lovely having
you.
you.
Thank
See
you
ya.
so much.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.